My name's Phil Harrington. I'm the founder, chairman, and CEO of Kuder, Inc. I started this company some 25 years ago with a goal to positively impact the lives of youth around the world to help them aspire to happiness and success in their career, whatever that choice might be. Our vision has been to help people discover who and what they want to be. Our motto really sums up, I think, best of who we are as an organization. For 25 years, we've said, you cannot be what you cannot see. We help you see what you can become. And that's really who we are as Kuder. It's really very personal why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I was very happy and successful in the financial services arena. Happily married, proud father of 4. Our oldest daughter, Erin, who today is the president of our organization. But it started with her, and it started with her when she was in 8th grade. We're around the table one evening talking about what happened in the lives, everybody's life that day. And Erin said to me that she had set up a 4-year plan and was going to major in science and attend the Iowa State University. And my reaction to that was, what in the world are you talking about? Because I had never heard anything come from her. She went on into a series of events of questions that were asked by the school counselor, and there were three simple questions. What are you going to do when you graduate from this high school? Her response was, I don't know, appropriate for an 8th grader. What are you going to do what are you going to major when you go to college? Again, her response was, I don't know. What's your favorite class was the next question. And at that particular moment of the day, it happened to be science. So she said, I guess it's going to major in science and I'm going to go to Iowa State. If you were a student in this particular school, you basically had 3 universities to choose from, and that was it. And there was no career planning, it was just college planning. So my vision back then as a parent, really thinking about college and career planning, it was never my experience to say you're just going to college. It was you're going to have a career, and then we're going to help you find what college, what training, what community college, what on-the-job program, military, whatever that might be, that was laid in to fit what your career plan was. It was never the reverse. It wasn't go to college and then hope you find the right job. So based on what happened there, I started to ask a lot of questions. First series of questions involved talking to one of my older brothers, who was a very distinguished, respected school superintendent. Len and I had an opportunity to spend some time together to sit down and say, how seriously can we impact the lives of youth in this country? He resigned from his role as school superintendent in Indiana, and I ended up selling a financial services company, and we set out on a course of action to try to impact positively the lives of kids. And that was the impetus for us to ultimately say, how are we going to do this? It started with both of us agreeing that there needed to be the world's greatest faculty behind whatever we set out to do. He traveled coast to coast to say, who are the greatest in the field of career development, career theory, and test development? What was really interesting was that most of the conversations that Len would have, whether that went from Stanford to Columbia to Harvard, it didn't matter where Len went, they would direct us back to Iowa State University. We ultimately had a meeting with 2 very distinguished professors from ISU. One of those happened to be Dr. Donald Zaitowski. And during a conversation with Don about test development, Dr. Zaitowski said to Len, I assume you're here to talk about Kuder. I had no idea what or who Kuder was. Len's response to that was, do you mean the Kuder assessment I took at Waverly Shell Rock High School that suggested I should be a school superintendent? So we met with Dr. Kuder. He agreed to sell the Kuder name. There wasn't much of a company left, but the Kuder name and the assessments, which were at that time were being managed by CTB McGraw-Hill, and formed our first organization to provide assessments to students across the United States initially. I think the most important thing was the fact that Dr. Kuder's assessments were some of the only evidence-based and research-based assessments in the world. They had the highest reliability numbers, and so we knew as an organization that that was critical to us, that the information we were going to provide to children, parents, and educators had to be real. And I've said many times that I sleep really well at night, knowing that the information we're providing to youth, whether they're in the United States or any other part of the world, are accurate and real, and you should feel very confident in it. We knew through my trust in Len and getting to know Dr. Zajtowski that there weren't any assessments that were of higher quality. And maybe for me, as the non-educator in the room, is when I met with Dr. Kuder, and I'm sharing what we're setting off to do. I explained what had happened to my daughter, Erin. I said, I'm not happy with the way the education system is working in the United States as it relates to college and career planning. We had done a series of events, a lot of research had gone in when we had engaged with the Gallup people and did a series of assessments or surveys of some 30 states, nearly 100,000 individuals that included 5 key stakeholders: students, parents, school counselors, community partners, and leaders. And everybody was saying the same thing that we believed, is that there was too much college preparation and not enough career preparation, and how do we blend those together? I knew in working with the Board of Regents in the state of Iowa that a data point that they had given me early on in our conversation of what do we want to build was this. The gentleman at the time who was the president of the Iowa Board of Regents said to me, Phil, he said, we've graduated some 65,000 students from our 3 major universities. Here's the question he posed to me. In a period of 6 years, if you take those 65,000 students that have matriculated, what percent of those youth have actually graduated from college and have a job in their field of study? My initial answer was 40%, 50%. He goes, you're way high. I said maybe 15 to 25%. He said, you're still way high. He said the real number is 2.3%. So that type of information and the data we had from the 100,000 people that we had surveyed, what I call the key stakeholders in this process, helped lead us to say we have to have the very best tools that we provide to individuals if we're going to create an organization, world-class organization to build around the Kuder name. The other thing that I think is important to share from a history standpoint of that meeting with Kuder was his passion and my passion aligned pretty closely. Here's what Kuder said to me at the end of the day. He said, if you acquire this company, Phil, he said, you have to remember a couple things. You take on a huge responsibility. He said, the responsibility is happiness and success. He said, because first of all, you can't teach interest. You have to discover those. We have to help people find what they're passionate about. And it's what we do each and every day. And today, we're blessed to be able to do that across the globe to help children find their passion and adults find their passion in life. And we do that through a series of assessments. I think there are a handful of key areas outside of assessment that are critical really to be successful. One is parental and guardian involvement. I think it's important that they are at the table for those discussions. We know that's difficult. We want their involvement, and so we provide tools to make sure that they're comfortable. Better to help parents understand what career guidance means. That's one. The second, and maybe the most important area, is professional development. We have some of the best, most passionate school counselors across this country that are there to offer services in career and college counseling. And yet many of them are asked to do that without the right preparation, the right professional development. We listened very closely to a woman by the name of Dr. Joanne Harris-Bowlesby, who worked with us for a number of years. Many people that are even still a little bit younger than me will remember that Joanne created the very first electronic career guidance system in the world. And global leaders came to the United States to follow what Joanne Harris-Bowlesby believed. When I met Joanne, when I said I need your help on how do we do a better job of engaging with school counselors, Joanne said, our problem, Phil, is that there are people out there that have their PhD in school counseling and career counseling, and there are people that have their masters. But there are tens of thousands of individuals who are providing that service that don't have really professional development. I think one of the most important things that we've learned in working with our faculty is that even though Kuder provides the world's greatest, most reliable assessments, and we do sleep really well at night knowing that the information we're providing is accurate and true, and you should feel highly confident in what we're suggesting, the best outcomes are given once you have a true vocational intervention along with a trained professional. And so we recognize that individuals need to be trained as professional career counselors, and we do that through a program called Career Advisor Training. Probably one of the most important things in my life over the past 25 years is really the impact that we've had on youth. And I'm blessed because I've been able to travel the globe listening and talking to students that have used the Kuder assessments. So whether it's in an inner city in the United States or a rural part of the United States or China, Singapore, East Africa, it's the kids that mean the difference to me. So when I've had an opportunity to come up and meet with students that have used our assessments and they come to me and say, "You changed my life. You're the reason I'm able to go to college. You're the reason I'm able to do what I want to do, not what somebody else wanted me to do. You're the person that helped me to discover what I'm passionate about and then find that pathway in life." It's never been about me. It's been about the kids. And our job as an organization has always been to focus on our customer, and it's the end user. It's how are we really impacting their lives. And I remind our team across every aspect of this organization, regardless of where you're at in Kuder, that you are daily touching thousands, tens of thousands of lives across the globe, and hopefully helping them find happiness and success in their life. That's probably the greatest thing that's happened for me in the past 25 years.